All right.
Okay, I think everyone's on. Paul and Paul.
Yep, I'm here.
All right.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, and Paul, I was just
It's
telling
clear,
you.
too. It's awesome.
There we go.
Fantastic.
Okay, I think we're all set.
Okay. We're gonna talk in 10 seconds. Here we go. All right. Hey, welcome back to Dysfunctional Podcast. We're here with Paul from 90 Day Fiance. Before the 90 days. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be on.
Yes, we were really looking forward to this. I've been trying to get an interview with you because you're one of my absolute favorites on the show. And my wife Denise is here too.
Thank you very much.
And she loves you as well. Denise, what were you saying before?
No, I was just saying that, you know,
much.
they're like one of my favorite couples, and whenever I watch it, I always look forward to their segments. So having them on our show is extremely exciting for me.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, I'm assuming.
Thank you so much.
Are you overseas right now? We don't obviously we don't want to give
you.
anything away. Are you overseas right now?
I can't really give away my exact location because that'll give away some future things coming up.
Okay, so
That's
then
fine.
you know what? Let's
That's
just
fine.
I will say we're doing good.
no
That's
problem. You know
fine.
what? We're gonna just get down to the chase, and I'm gonna ask you a question. And everything that I'm gonna ask you is solely gonna be based on what the viewers have seen and have watched. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So,
Okay.
Paul, on the show, I see like you guys have always had communication issues and that you've used like a translator to help you communicate. Has the communication between the two of you gotten better?
Yes. Our communication has gotten very, very well. We are able to communicate without the translator pretty well. We do from time to time need to use it on certain things, but for most everyday things, we are able to communicate well without the translator.
I noticed on the newer episodes that you're using a translator that you can talk into. Does that make it easier?
Yes. Yes and no. So it makes it easier because you don't have to type everything out, but the problem is it'll actually always, well, a lot of times certain words will be converted to something different. For example, when I say ton and chins, it'll think I'm saying town and chains. And it'll convert certain words to different things when it's put into translated. So you have to make sure you watch it, what it's saying and what words it's actually, the voice detection is detecting, because sometimes it'll detect a totally different word.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's kind of like voice texting. I don't know how many times I have like texted somebody because I couldn't sit there and like type it out. So I will like voice text it and it will come out something so completely different. And then they'll like respond back to me like, what? And I look at what I wrote and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, so sorry. Like stupid voice text.
But it must be much harder for you because you can't understand what it's saying to know it got it wrong.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's have to make sure I always look at it and make sure when I'm speaking, it'll actually say the English. It'll detect the English, and the English will show up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So I have to watch the English, and if it's a really, really bad translation, I can try to cancel it before it tries to start speaking it, because sometimes it goes way off chart.
Now let me go back to the start, just because I wanted to. How did you guys originally meet?
Oh, we originally met on a dating app on my phone, and we met on there, which had an automatic translation feature on it.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually on a couple different dating apps, and she was actually on both. But we communicated on the dating app for, a little over a year before we decided to meet for the first time. But, I mean, she was continuous. We always kept talking on the app. She was always there. So after about a year, I decided, I want to go ahead and take the jump and go down there and meet her. But it was very intimidating. The Amazon and everything. The travel doctors told me all these things to be wary of, and I was already kind of paranoid about things. So I went ridiculously prepared.
Yeah, we saw your first trip there. Yeah, you covered every base with your trip.
I couldn't believe. I'm like, look at how much stuff he's carrying with him.
I'm still impressed that you managed to get all that stuff to her house.
I'm so impressed how organized
that was impressive.
He is.
It was also impressive that the dogs didn't go off on certain things. When the dogs went off, I was extremely nervous, and the reason why is I have, like, one of my conditions is I have really bad kidney stones.
Oh.
So my doctor joked around, like, you better not see you unlocked as an bride. Well, I had Percocets in case I had kidney stones, which I didn't need and I didn't have, so I had a full prescription. So I didn't know. I thought the dogs were alerting on that. I'm like, oh, God, they're alerting on my, my pain medicine.
Right.
That's what they're going off. I'm about to get locked up and get arrested. I didn't know.
Yeah, but you had a
prescription.
prescription.
So, but they didn't.
Yeah, but try and show a prescription to a guy in Brazil.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't go off on none of the drugs. Any of the drugs in the bag I had prescription wise. I had anxiety medicine. I had antibiotics. I had that one particular pain medicine. They didn't go off on any of it. They just went off on I think it was the cough drops. They went off on cough drops, and that was it.
Oh my God, that's
which
so
blew
funny.
me away.
That would blow me away.
What made you decide to get involved in the show before you went that first time?
Safety. I really thought about it for a good 3 months before after they got back with me, and I told them, let me think about it. It took about 3 months thinking about it, and then I realized that traveling to Brazil by myself is already risky, but traveling up the Amazon, by myself is even, really, really risky.
Mm-hmm.
At that point is kind of, I thought, my life would kind of be threatened in a lot more ways than I could handle. No one speaks English. It just made more sense to go with a film crew, so I had that security cushion.
Exactly.
So if anything went down, at least they were there.
Very good.
One of the most common questions on the internet is, with that security, how did that whole thing with Karini getting robbed happen?
Correct. That was my fault. That was entirely my fault. We were at the park, and then not only did we have our security, but they had like their own little platoon of police officers there in the one section. I had actually left the perimeter, and I left security perimeter when I ran off. Now, the main two security we have were stretched very, very thin. So then, when they came out to make sure I was okay, and Karini had took my cell phone and she was going through it, she went in that one dangerous area. The thieves realized everybody was distracted, and they took full advantage of it. So it was, I felt completely horrible about the whole thing.
Yeah.
One of the Brazilian fixers, he had to actually ricochet one of the machetes with his backpack. And then, of course, Karini, they actually went up, and luckily only my cell phone was stolen. Thank God. Nothing else was stolen. Only my cell phone was stolen, and no one was injured. That was the most important thing.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, what was your first impression of Brazil when you got off that plane? What was when you first saw what Brazil looked like? Because I remember I come from England, so the first time I came to America, I noticed all the street signs were different. The
like culture
cars,
shock.
the cars were different. It just looked so different and weird to me.
Honestly, it reminded me a lot. When we first got to Manaus, it reminded me a lot of Florida, except all the signs were in Portuguese.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really warm, real tropical. The people were very, very friendly. It wasn't until we got on the boat that I realized, all the main things that were extremely different. Just like everyone, was wondering, why did not I shower on the boat? Well, the big reason why I did not shower on the boat was because I first went in there, I realized all the water from the shower and the sinks were ground. So I asked them, where does, the water, is it kind of filtered? They said, no, all the water comes straight out of the river.
Awesome.
Now, also, I asked them about the sewage. All the toilets and everything, all the sewage also dumps out to the same area where the water's pumped in. So in theory, you could actually see taking a shower in sewage water. So I was like, no, I think I'm going to pass on that one. But
yeah, that's
Karini did also too. Karini, when every time she was on the boat, what she had me do is I would actually go and get her some of the drinking water, and I'd bring up 2-liter bottles of drinking water, and then she would use that to actually bathe in.
Oh wow!
Go ahead.
I was going to ask now, how does your parents feel about all of this? About finding someone from another country versus, a hometown girl or someone local?
Yeah, my mom was totally skeptical and scared about it, especially when you go in Boston, dead, locked up. God knows what will happen over there. Can't find someone local. But she was definitely back and forth. My father, well, he's more like an angry Donald Trump, so I'll just leave it at that.
I think there's always one in somebody's family.
He really is. Oh, yeah. My sister is an extreme liberal, and my dad's an extreme Republican, so our family gatherings are always very interesting.
Oh, that must be some awesome barbecues.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is.
Did they chose not to be on the TV show? I'm trying to remember if we saw them on the TV show. I don't
I
remember.
thought I saw his mom. His mom was on.
My mother was.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows my mom. After the Harrington, everybody knows her.
Right.
Exactly.
Oh, that's right.
Father
When you were
just too,
packing.
yeah, father was just
when
too
she
busy.
was when he was packing.
When he was
and
packing
going
the stuff
for-
back on the first series. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now I have a question. Like, I understand that you had trust issues from your past relationships. Do you feel in any way that the way you behave with Karini that could possibly cause problems in your relationship? You know, do you feel like you're kind of bringing in baggage from an old relationship into a new one and not giving her like a fair chance, you know, for who she is? You understand what I'm trying to say?
That was something. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay,
Karini
because
brought the
I
exact
sometimes I
same
have trouble
argument.
wording things.
And she actually had the exact same argument, and that's very true. There was a few things that we've had that we've overcome, but those things are in the past now.
That's good.
But yes, there was some problems and things that I took very seriously. You know, the pregnancy test and everything are just, you know, one too many. She got me because I really did think she was pregnant. So she definitely got me when I first arrived, and she did that pregnancy test, and she's like, "I'm pregnant." I'm like, "It can't be mine." It really threw me up. It really got me my stomach all tore up.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, you know, a lot of times it's easy to forget what's been done to you in the past, you know, and sometimes it really is difficult, like in a new relationship, to have that trust and to be able to like bond with somebody without having things in the back of your mind. So, I mean, you know what, like from your standpoint, I was totally able to see, you know, and I'm sure so many other viewers, but I guess for her, you know, because she didn't know your past, I guess, you know, it's hard for a woman to to understand exactly, you know, how deep the hurt really was. But I'm really glad that you two were able to communicate and get past that. What about her parents?
Yeah, it was stressful.
Yeah. What about her parents? I mean,
in regards to the
past, your criminal past, and you having to go over there and prove yourself to them. I mean, is the relationship better now?
Yeah.
Did it improve?
Gotten well, it's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. Okay. There is a thing that has not aired yet, so I won't go too much into it, but there there's definitely it's better now.
Okay.
But
that's good.
We've had problems, but we're better now.
That's good.
How when you first met Karini, when you were waiting for her and that, what was they showed on the TV a bit about her reaction to how much stuff you brought and how you were dressed and all that kind of stuff. How long did it take her to understand where you were coming from with that? I mean, before you went, did you tell her you were bringing so much stuff? Did she know that you were kind of I guess paranoid because of what you've heard? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that was very insulting to her. I mean, that was very insulting to them. And it's difficult though too, because even when we were in Tonsine's, there's things like malaria and everything else, and then the doctors warn you of how mosquitoes are one of the main leading causes of deaths from the diseases they actually carry. And we're actually at an area that actually, like I said, they even had a thing on there, like a warning on the medical clinic about the pending outbreak or something. It was in Portuguese, but I could make out a gist of it. So I was on edge. That's why I always wore the exact same outfit at first. It was the only thing that was treated with an insect shield chemical. It actually kept the insects off, and it actually worked. Because I tried other things, I tried other, repellents and whatnot, but nothing really worked. So when I realized that, I mean, I barely even washed it. It was the only thing I really trusted and I wore. But mosquitoes in some areas are really bad. Now, some areas you weren't. In some areas, they were just really, really, really bad. And, of course, I was already nervous. They had dengue, they had yellow fever, they had malaria, they had all these different things. They have another thing that's called, I forget the name of the fly, but there's a fly that lays its eggs in the mosquito, and then when the mosquito lands on you, the eggs actually fall on your skin, and the maggots live in your flesh. So there's a whole lot of things that you can get in a very short amount of time.
That's
I give you a lot of credit because I would not put myself through all of that for love. So, you know what? Major kudos to you.
Well, you probably haven't had such bad relationships as Paul has had in the past.
Well, I found
It was
you.
definitely crazy. I mean, it's cool. Oh, I was saying it was cool seeing all the animals, though. All the different animals and unique exotic things. It's just part of everyday life. Seeing running around, that was cool. Piranha fishing and everything else. It was a lot of exciting things. But I finally let my guard down. So that was good.
I noticed the next time you went back, you didn't take quite as much. So is that some of that paranoia is gone, or you kind of narrowed down exactly what you need?
I narrowed down the main things I need, and it's funny because some of the things Kareem would also, like my mosquito suit, she would use that every now and again. My heat gear, she would use that a lot of times. So she would actually use some things too. So other things did come in handy, but she definitely likes American things. Like this last trip, she had a long list of things she wanted. I couldn't bring everything. I brought as much as I could, but I couldn't bring everything. But she was very happy with everything. She wasn't happy when we lost the luggage, but she was very happy when she was able to get everything.
You know, it kind of reminds me and Paul, actually, we met, you know, before the internet. We met like on a BBS bulletin board. And I remember the first time that Paul took me over to England. And just like what a difference. And I wanted everything. I wanted food. I wanted the clothing from there. I wanted, you know, treats. And I mean, whatever I could bring back, I wanted. So, I mean, for me, it was a really exciting experience to experience a different culture. So as a girl, I can totally relate to her.
Oh, yeah.
I want to know what...
Yeah, the culture thing. So, yeah, Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you finish. Go on.
Finish with Sam.
Oh, no, I was just saying that the culture thing, there was something that was a huge insult to her, for example. And I didn't mean by any means to insult their culture, but it was actually Christmas time. We traveled to see her family Christmas time, and we took some stuff down there. And they hadn't actually been able to do like a big Christmas meal. We took a Christmas tree, have them get food. Well, they start preparing the food probably about 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, they did not eat the food until right around a little after midnight. Now, the food wasn't kept in the refrigerator. It wasn't, it was kept out, all day, basically at room temperature, which is kind of warm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of items I wouldn't eat, like anything, mayonnaise, eggs, the meat. A lot of things I wouldn't eat, and she's like, being offensive. It's like, you don't understand. I tried to explain to her.
Yeah, they're really 2 hours.
She's like, no, that's only in America. You don't have that here. Like,
yeah, 2 hours you're supposed to leave food out, and then anything after 2 hours you're supposed to throw away.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Yes.
Was it hard getting? Was it hard getting used to the food there? Not just the fact they left it out, but is there any like Brazilian foods that you tried?
Yeah, actually, this is really remarkable, too, is before I left, I was actually down to right around 120 pounds. And my clothes are just falling off my body. Like, all of my clothes barely fit, It was horrible. Now I'm a little bit fat, and my clothes are just too small. So it's a total flip. But I had a lot of GI problems. I was in and out of the doctor's office. I had to go to the hospital, get exams. It was constant. And the doctor told me the same thing when I went there both times. He's like, hey, when you go, you're going to get better. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. You won't need your medicine. You'll be fine. And sure enough, without medication or anything, once I adjusted to the food, all of my GI problems, all the things, they were saying you might have Crohn's, you might have this, everything went away.
Wow,
all my problems went away.
You.
I actually started picking up a lot of weight. Yeah, all my pains, all my cramps, all my issues just disappeared. Didn't need medicine, didn't need nothing. So that to me was amazing. Now, when I went home for a little bit and then came back, I noticed at home they started to come back. But then when I went back to Brazil, it went away again. So that to me was really amazing.
Maybe you need to find a Brazilian food place and have your food delivered.
I see.
I was very helpful.
Right?
Now, I was going to say, I see that Karini always has you buy a lot of American stuff for her. But what Brazilian stuff did you bring back to America?
Anything for your mom?
I brought back a lot of different little art, Brazilian Amazon artistic things. Nice. They have like a beautiful wooden carved fish that looks almost like a real fish, but it's made out of wood. but it looks like taxidermy. It's amazing how well it's crafted. I mean, the crafts that they do in the Amazon are just so well done. I've never seen anything so beautiful. You know, my dad's like, "Oh, is this something is it made, you know, in China and made in the factories?" And no, this is all handmade. Everything is just all handmade stuff, and it's just beautiful. It's completely beautiful, and all the time and the talent that goes into everything that they make. It's just going in the market there, and it's actually very, very inexpensive too. Anything you buy in the market, if you ever travel to Amazon, go to the actual Amazon market because everything is very well priced.
I was going to say, how does, you know, the prices of things compare over there to here? Like, is it a lot cheaper? Is it more expensive? I mean, do you get more for your American dollar? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Certain items are way cheaper, and then other items are a lot more expensive, and they're just like a luxury item. Coke, Ruffles, Pringles, these are all things that they're actually produced in Brazil. They actually have production. They produce them here. So they're not imported, but they cost more. Now, other restaurants like, supposedly, from what I understand, like McDonald's here, they actually get all their food imported from America. So that food actually tastes like American version. So, but other places, like I'll go to their competitor, for example, that's an American company, and I'll eat there, and you can tell right off the bat it's definitely not anything like you have in America. And I ate there one time and never ate there again. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
but there's other places here that I'll eat at, and I love the flavoring and the tasting and the version of how they do it.
Now, do you keep in touch with any of the other couples? I mean, do you have like all communication with each other? Oh, you do. That's nice. We do. A lot of us communicate. We have different chats that we talk on, things kind of, you know, in together as cast. Some casts are more isolated than others. I'm not going to say any names.
Right.
But everybody and all are really good. We're really friendly with each other. We talk to each other. We support each other. If we're having a bad week, you know, we all try to take up for that person and try to cheer them up. So we know what it's like to go through all the stuff and the fan hatred and everything. So it's kind of like a support group.
That's good. Good support system.
We see that crap online, and we feel so bad for you because you guys, you know, you put yourselves out there to entertain people, and that's really what it is. You know, you're entertaining people, showing, you know, opening your life up to everybody. And some of these idiots online are just, you know, stupid.
They're just miserable.
They have nothing better to do with their lives. How about they go get on a TV show and we can watch them?
I always say that my husband and our lives are reality shows, you know?
The one funny thing, you didn't really do it, but sometimes, you know, you go to a foreign country and at the airport you buy stuff that says Brazil or whatever, but then you look at it, like you said, it says made in China on the bottom of it. So it's probably it's made in the same factory as the one you bought in New York, you know, 2 weeks earlier. It's come from the same factory.
That's probably why his dad's skeptical, saying, "Oh, it was made in China."
Now, was there anything that was shown on the show that you regret at this point? I mean, you mentioned, you know, the Carini getting robbed. That, you know, I understand that completely. But was there anything that you're like, I wish, you know?
Oh yeah, that's one thing. And as I'll see things and didn't realize it, like there was the incident when I forgot and didn't open the door. I felt horrible about that. There was an incident. When she gave me the cologne and perfume, I really wish I would have showed her a lot more gratitude, and been a lot more, you know, let her know how thankful I was of it. So there's just a lot of things that I see on there. It's like, man, I wish I could go back and I could do that differently. So I'm glad, you know, they show that, because that way it may help me become a better person, so I can realize, you know, where my faults are and where I need to do and change things.
Paul, I think you need to watch the show a little bit more and study that.
Yeah.
Because I you know, it's typical guys things. I mean, you could do things and they really don't show much appreciation.
That's all you want to hear from your wife or your girlfriend. Say, hey, Paul on 90 Day Fiance opened the door for his girlfriend. Why aren't you open it for me?
Yeah, you don't open it for me. I lay out your clothes for you every morning. You know, when I cook and I clean and stuff like that. Like, do I ever get a thank you?
All right. Anything you want to tell us about anything that's upcoming? You probably can't tell us anything exciting, right? But
not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I mean,
I didn't think you could. So that's fine.
Let me see if I can get somebody to say hello. Hold on a second. Say hello. Say hello. Hello.
Say hola.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
Aw. It's nice to talk to you. We won't bother her. She's probably shy. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
She's not
It's
feeling
okay.
well,
Aw,
but
it's okay.
I wanted to at least say hello.
That's awesome, though. We really appreciate it.
We are so happy we got to talk with you. And
Yeah, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
we don't want to make this a long interview, but if you could just give us one memory or experience that you guys have shared that will always, touch each other's hearts, what would it be? And do you have any advice for other couples in their relationships? What's the most important?
I guess one of the biggest things that was really heartwarming, besides meeting in person for the first time and then getting engaged, which I kind of wish I would have wrote it a little differently when I wrote it in sand, but
that was beautiful, by the way.
The first time I actually, probably
beautiful.
the biggest thing that really touched our hearts the most, and unfortunately the only video I had of that was on my phone when it got stolen, but she wasn't feeling well, so I went out and I'd actually got a beautiful thing of flowers and some medicine, everything, and wrote her a little love letter in Portuguese. I actually went to a translator, made sure translate, asked the hotel staff to, make sure I was writing it correctly so it didn't come off totally jarbled. So I did all this, and then I remember her walking in the room, and then when she turned around and she saw it, she just literally just started crying, completely in tears, and she was, to explain to me, she never had ever gotten flowers ever in her life. And just seeing how grateful and happy she was, and that to us both was a really big bonding moment, just seeing how appreciative and how happy she was. And, her first time getting something like that, a gesture from somebody, really meant a lot to her. So that to us was a big thing. I guess the other thing is everyone's like, oh, how do y'all, in regards to communication, is most people communicate nowadays. This is sad but true. And nowadays, most people communicate with text messages. You don't really call someone on the phone. You text, you email, you message, you get on Messenger. People don't really call like they used to. And so with us, with the translation apps and everything, automatically translating, we didn't really notice at first when we met in person in regards to that. But I guess the biggest thing is to always, try to communicate. And if you are trying to talk to me overseas, and if, me, I need to really, really work on Portuguese. I'm working on as hard as I can. I have a little bit of some learning issues here or there, but I'm working on it. So. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
What is the most?
And her English has improved dramatically.
Oh, good for her.
That's good.
Good for her.
What is the most awesome thing that she's given you?
Out of your relationship.
What I'm talking about, did she make anything for you?
I see. Physically stuff. Things that she made for you.
Okay,
or did she do anything special for you?
I can't. The answer I want to say for that, I can't say.
Okay.
But in regards to things, she's actually taken time and actually wrote things for me. She's actually made little gifts, different things. She's gone out and buy different gifts. Like she actually takes the time to really go out and do something, out of, a kindness of her heart, that she thinks I'm going to appreciate. Not some generic. She really takes the time to figure out that my birthday party. That was something else she did. I did not see that coming. I went down there, and she knew I was a Marvel fan. I liked Iron Man. And I go downstairs, and they had an Iron Man cake, and they had all this stuff down there. And it was her way of saying thank you for her birthday, because she didn't need to have the big birthday she wanted. So for her birthday, we did a unicorn party. She got unicorn cake. We had unicorn onesies. We had unicorns, everything. Everything was unicorns. And it was the best birthday of her life. She was so happy. So in return, she threw me an Iron Man birthday, it was sweet. It was really sweet, and it was definitely unexpected.
That's awesome. Okay, well, before you go, can you just do one thing for us? Can you record a little message saying, hi, this is Paul from 90 Day Fiance, and you're listening to the Dysfunctional Podcast?
A bumper for us.
So what is it? Dysfunctional. You mean record it and send it to you?
Yeah, no.
Now,
just like say now.
No,
just say, hi, this is Paul from 90 Day Fiance, and you're listening to the Dysfunctional Podcast.
You can just say it right now.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay. Hello, this is Paul from 9 Fiance, and you're listening to the Dysfunctional Podcast.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We really, really appreciate you talking to us.
No problem. Thank you.
Wishing the two of you all the best. And you know what? I can tell you have a definite, genuine heart. And I wish you all the best.
Yes, thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You too. You take care now.
Thank you.